marriage, I remember saying to my husband, like, every time I see someone getting married, I get scared for them. Like, I genuinely feel fear, anxiety for them. And I know that comes from a personal place, not just my 3 failed relationship before my marriage, but also the difficulties that I faced and my husband have faced in our marriage. And the reason I say this is because a lot of us go into marriage. So I met my husband, the year that I met my husband, I turned 24. I said to my husband, I was so young, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just I was so young. Um, but I've always been looking for a partnership, someone to fill a void in me. However, the year that I met my husband, I was forced through suicidal thoughts, anxiety, depression, and mental breakdown to have a real look at myself. So, the year that I met my husband, I was really working on self, really connecting to Source and the Most High God. And I feel like a lot of us, self included, go into marriage with this very TV, Disney, book, story look at marriage, where in fact, marriage is more than what we see on the TV. It is much deeper than what we see on the TV. It's much deeper than what we see on the series and the shows and the media. Is so much deeper, and that's why we see so much failed marriage. I'm actually sometimes even shocked that me and my husband still going, just because of the things that we've been through. And yes, it gets better if you are determined to really work and get to know each other and become better people. Because if you're married or in a relationship for a long term, you are going to hurt one another, regardless if you think that you have it together. I didn't have it together. He didn't have it together. We were just working on ourselves and our lives. And we came into this with our own individual baggage, pain, trauma. And because we are the closest to each other, we somehow took that pain and took that trauma out on one another. Right? And there's so much to it. But the point of this video is to prepare your mind, right? And at least give you some heads up on what to look for in someone. Okay? What to look for in a man. Okay? And I've learned all these through reading, through YouTube, through podcasts, but also through experience. And I hope that I will help you. Okay, so one of the things, and if we go to the good book, one of the things that I would definitely say is, who are you able to be of an assistant to this man? Like the Bible say that we are their helpmate. I think it's vice versa. My husband, when he met me, he said he heard God say, help her. And I think that the Bible sometimes do not go straight in depth about certain things, but I feel like if the Bible told a man to help, or say a woman's to help a man, I think is both way. Then the man's also have to be of help, because it also says whatever you sow you will reap. So if you are a helping woman, you are going to get a helping man, right? But that is just so surface, because I've known women who will do the most for a man, and still he will turn around and mistreat her. So there's so much more to you being of help to this man. What you need to look for is, can I help this man in wherever he is? Okay, for example, you cannot help a man who has a bad character, period. If this man is a cheater and you know him to be a cheater, a liar, a thief, a destroyer, right? Someone with no character, no manners, or bad character, how can you help this man? So you can be a helpmate to him. Go ahead and be the helpmate. But you cannot help this man in his character, in his bad behavior. You cannot. Right? If this is a lazy man, right? He's lazy, he's bare minimum man. Everything he does is minimum, the least. You cannot help this man. If you find a man who's grinding and looking there, looking here, trying to figure things out, he might not have it all together, but he's trying to figure it out. At least you know this man is a hard worker. At least you know if you guys sit down and put a plan together on how to make money, he's going to be on it. Right? But some of us, we want to get with lazy men and be shocked when you're doing everything. Everything. And they're not contributing in any form and in anywhere. They're not contributing. Adam, you saw that Adam had things in place. He had his work. He was under God. He was communicating with God. He had his purpose. He was in need of nothing. Right? So at least when you meet him, do he have his own place? Is he working? Is he putting his money together? Right? Is he trying to find his purpose? Is he in a flow? Is he committed and submitted to God already? Are you forcing that on him? Is he in? And here's the thing: a lot of people believe that going to church is having a relationship with God. There's a lot of people in the church who have absolutely no relationship with God. So going to church is not a demonstration that this person has a relationship with God. Listen, it says you should know them by their fruits. Just check their fruits out. Check their behavior out. Check their speech out. Check their actions out. And is this in alignment to someone who is in fear and in awe of God? Is this someone who's working on disciplining themselves? I heard a woman said recently, and I thought it was very interesting. She said people, especially men who've slept around a lot, or men or women who slept around or have not really had stable relationships, you have to practice being in a relationship with one person, because it's not something that you are used to. And it makes sense. If you are someone who's used to eating junk food, used to eating meat, and all of a sudden you want to eat cleaner, you want to eat healthier, you have to practice it. If you are someone who struggle with not spending money and is always spending money, you have to practice not spending money. Right? And so if you want to be in a relationship, a long-term relationship, you have to practice that. Right? You have to practice being with someone and considering this person in everything that you do. It's crazy to me when people say, this is how I am. Well, if that's how you are, be by yourself. Live by yourself. Eat by yourself. Stay by yourself. But if you've chosen to be in a relationship, a committed relationship with someone, you have to practice being with someone and considering this person in everything that you do. Okay, if I do this, how would it affect my person? If I do this, how would it affect my person? And then you got to practice sharing sharing, good communication. But here's the thing, a lot of people want to say they want a relationship. They say they want a committed relationship, but they want to behave as though they're still single. They want to behave as though they have no one to be accountable for. And you got to understand, you cannot help every single man, right? When you are younger and you don't know better, okay, cool. Make your mistakes. But as you get older and wiser, well, younger and wiser, as you go up in your age, you have to realize that you can't help, you're not there to help everybody. And you have to have conversations, you know, and vent out, can I help this person? Or is this going to be a waste of years, painful years, and waste of my time? Because you will not be happy picking up a man that you want to help, because we are wired to help, wired to nurture. Pick up a man that you want to help and realize you can't help this man because he's stuck in whatever ways you picked him up in. However, if you choose a man who has good character, if you choose a man who's a hard worker, willing to commit, if you choose a man who is in a relationship with the Most High God already, and you don't have to constantly correct this man because he's being corrected by God. If you choose a man who's already a good man, like he's already honorable to women, he's already mannersable to women, he have manners already when it comes to women. Because you can choose a man who dislike women because they have a bad relationship with their mother figure. Do you understand? You can choose a man who dislike women, who do not think highly of women, but you want to be a helpmate to this man. Is not possible. So when you choose a man who already respects and honor and take into consideration women and their emotions and their feelings, then you don't have to worry about thriving and fighting with someone who's inconsiderate in that area. Another thing is when you meet a man who think because a woman is a helpmate that they need to help you with everything. Right? No, we are there to help in some things, but there's some things men have to figure out on their own. There's something they have to, you know, navigate and discover on their own. Okay, we are not, we do not have, well, let me not say that. We cannot help in every single area, right? But we cannot help someone to heal. We can assist them, be a support, but healing is a self thing, right? My husband can support me, he can guide me, he can comfort me, but me choosing to heal every day is my choice. Okay, so there's some things men just need to do on their own. Some of us, we want a man to love us who do not love us. He might enjoy our company, he might enjoy what he's receiving from us, but he does not love us. And you know this because he will have you around for years and he will not commit to you. He will not marry you. He will not settle down with you. But he will drag you along because one thing we know, men do not really close doors. They keep opportunities open so that they can always go back. And silly women who keep allowing men back into their lives, even though they are continuously disrespecting, dishonoring, and lack commitment, honesty, and truth about them. They lack good character. But we keep allowing them back into our space. One thing I've learned is how precious and valuable my presence is. And this year has really taught me that my presence is so important. And anyone who takes my presence for granted will feel it once I realize that they're doing that and once I step back from that relationship. My presence is absolutely valuable. I am valuable. And I know that. I know I show up, and anything I show up, I'm very giving. And I'm going to find out, how can I help you? And I'm going to do my best to provide in whatever is necessary. And so when I am taken for granted, I no longer wait around. I no longer try to prove myself. I no longer try to win. I am no longer entertaining no one to make them choose me. If you cannot see that I am choosable, pickable, then you do not know my value. And here's the thing, I'm not for everyone, just like how everyone is not for me. So I, yes, think very highly of myself and my presence. Someone might not. And that's fine. But I am not here to prove myself to anyone. I'm going to show up in my authentic self. And if we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, we don't. If you're for me, you're for me. If I'm for you, I'm for you. If I'm not, I'm not. And this is not just relationship. This is friendship. This is business. So when you meet someone and you get to know this person, and here's the crazy thing. When I look back on life before I met my husband, there was this thing where you meet someone, you just have sex with them. We were programmed to just give our bodies away. Like that. You don't even know who you're giving your body to. And I'm guilty for that. Right? You met this person, you felt butterflies and sparks, and you just gave your whole value away to someone. You didn't get to know them, get to see what kind of person. And now you're in a whole entanglement with someone that you decided to give your body away, but you don't know that person. You didn't know that. I'm guilty of that, which is how I ended up with 3 baby daddies, 3 children, and none committed. None. Because I did not give them time to see, is this a good person? Is this a committed person? How do they handle highs? How do they handle lows? How do they handle success? How do they handle difficulties? But if I had given them the time to see, how they handle these things, I could tell, okay, if I get pregnant, are they going to stick around? Because pregnancy is a big thing. If we're in a marriage and we want long term, there's going to be some hard times. There are going to be some difficulties. Can they handle it? Can they stick around? And that's why you see a lot of single mothers, because we did not check the root of this person. We only saw the surface. Oh, they cute. He dark skin. He light. He got money. He got car. But really, nah. What he's showing us is what he wants us to see. But if you check closely, he's broke. Live with his mama. Ain't got nothing to his name, which is fine. He's lazy. Don't got no grind, so you can't even work and build with him. He's disrespectful, talk bad about his mother, his sisters, his exes. He talk bad about. Got no respect for women. But you want to get with this person. You want to be a helpmate to who? That's a disaster for yourself. And so before we jump into having sex, we need to jump into the soul of this person. Who are you at your core? And can we build a life together? Or are you fragile and every little thing make you crumble as a man? And here's the thing. Men has emotions. The thing is about men is that they were forced to either separate themselves from their emotions because, oh, if you cry, you're a girl, you're a baby, you're a sissy, you're soft. Okay, so now their men are young adults. They don't know what they're feeling. They don't know how to handle what they're feeling. Where we as women, we were encouraged to be emotional. We were encouraged to be in touch with and in tune with what we thought and what we felt. And so we are better at expressing. Some of us are better at expressing what we feel and how we're thinking and what we're going through emotionally. Okay, so when you get with a man and he's not in tune with his emotions, he's not in tune with his thought, he don't know what his purpose is, he have no grind, he's disrespectful, he has no self-discipline, he's not submitted to God, and then you want to get yourself into that a relationship with this man, and you might have that lust feeling, that tingling. But is that enough to entangle yourself with a weak man? And I say this in the most respectful way. But when you don't have all these things in order, right? You are not at your highest strength. You are not your strongest. And so I must come and give you my whole soul and my whole body and entangle myself with you spiritually. What's going to happen to me? If you're supposed to be my head, how am I going to submit myself to a weak, undisciplined man? What's going to happen to me? I'm going to crash. Because for me to thrive and be successful and to have a good life, I need to connect myself with a strong, disciplined man. Again, that's why you see all these broken families and weak boys, stabbing, taking the life of women and mistreating women because they did not have a strong, disciplined father figure to guide and lead them. They saw weakness. They saw weakness. That's why you see young boys, young men beating women because they saw weakness. They did not see a grown man in his strength who was angry and was able to discipline himself and not put hands on who he's supposed to love and respect. Okay, and so when you are choosing, you have to really go deeper than the surface. You're with a man who don't know how to handle his emotion, don't know how to process it, don't know how to look at it, then he don't know how to discipline his hands and keep his hands to himself. Don't know how to discipline his mouth. I was watching a podcast. It's a podcast where they talk about marriage and relationships. And I can't remember the man's name, but he was saying that the 14 years of his marriage, they have never got into a argument. They've had disagreements, they've had attitude, but it's never got into an argument when they're shouting at each other. And I thought, shoot, that's good. I want to know how he did that. And he said something that was very, very, like he hit it on the head. He said, I've never allowed myself to bring the temperature in my house so high that my woman felt the need to feel unsafe or to clap back in a masculine way, because I always kept the temperature of my home. Whoever is the man of the house, he set the tone. He set the tone Okay, even if a woman is in her emotions on her period or whatever, he know how to handle it in a way that makes her feel safe, calm, and secure. And a lot of time, especially when you have a good woman and you see her come out of her feminine and come out of character, is because she's been placed in a situation. I'm talking about good woman here. She's been placed in a situation where she feels threatened, unsafe, and she have to fight. She's in fight or flight mode. And only a man can make his woman feel safe or threatened. And how she's reacting is responding to how you spoke or what you've done. And taking accountability is so important. And this is why we as women who are looking for good men, because we are good women, we really need to learn how to choose. Well, okay, we have to learn how to choose men who have self-control. And here's the thing. You might not meet a man who's well, like, completed. He's not a finished product. But can you work with him? And you can see if you can work with him based on his character. Is he a good person? Is he a hard worker? Is he determined? Do he have vision, purpose? These are all questions we need to ask and really look at when choosing someone. Another thing is, when I found myself on my healing journey, I've realized healing is very personal. It's something that you have to commit to. It's something that you have to say, this is what is important to me. And if you're with a man who's unwilling to heal, unwilling to face his traumas, unwilling to deal with the issues within himself, but you doing all the healing, you facing your traumas, and you're facing the issues within yourself, but he won't. How's that gonna work? And so you got to be willing to get with a man who's willing to do counseling for himself and with each other, willing to, learn, go around men and learn from other men, good advice. I'm not talking about these street guys. I'm talking about strong, powerful, well-rounded, committed, and confident, controlled men. I'm not talking about these Lego leaf in the wind men. Okay, and why is this so important? Because whoever you submit yourself with, you have to be willing to say, I trust you with my life. And can you trust this man with your life? Can you trust this man with your life when he would not even trust his own self or his own life? Because he refused to do the work, the inner work, the healing, the therapy, the counseling, the mentoring, the groups of men that's going to encourage and push and demand accountability. But some of these men, they just want to stay broken, wallow in sadness. You know. So it is important to choose a man who's willing to do counseling. If you are with a man and you are talking about premarital counseling, or you're talking about, just getting therapy, getting help for childhood trauma, and they won't do it, and you want to marry this person, I'm telling you, when I see people getting married, I'm not playing. When I say I get scared for them. Because a lot of us, we were not equipped. We are not ready. Even mentally, we are not even prepared to do this. And that's why it's so difficult. I realize it shouldn't be that difficult. But because we were not ready. Do the premarital counseling and don't skip it. And don't be afraid to say, hey, I think we need more help, or I don't think this is going to work. Because whoever you choose to say I do to is so important. Walking away is not easy. Ask me, ask my husband. I've considered walking away hundreds of times. And I'm sure my husband has as well. Because it gets so hard, I think you might as well be on your own. But that's because we were dealing with traumas and we were dealing with things that we had not dealt with. But we are willing. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to study? Are you willing? Another thing is, if this man does not have a prayer life or a devotional life for himself, like you gotta keep telling him, oh, let's go and pray, let's go and read. No, he's supposed to have that routine for himself. And as you are in a long-term relationship, you will realize when he's in it and when he's not. Be prepared to step back and say, I don't see you. I don't see you chatting to God. And that's a problem for me because God is your head. And you need to know when to step back and be like, I ain't trying to fool with you if you ain't fooling with God, because I'm not here to correct you. I'm not here to lead you. I'm here to submit to you. And I cannot submit to a man who's not submitted to God and ain't submitted to nobody. That has to be a relationship and a routine that is not broken at all. And if you see that broken, know when to step back and say, hey, I don't see you submitting to no one. And that's a problem for me. If I got to submit to you and you're not submitted to no one. So before you get into that marriage, that long-term contract, you got to ensure, and I don't mean like tell this person to do anything. Watch and see if that person is doing it. And if they're not, it's up to you to move forward with great conscience. Like, really be cautious and careful of your choice to move forward with this person. Because if a man is not submitted to no one and no one cannot correct him, and you're going to marry this man, you got to remember we are imperfect people. But men and women are completely different people. And if this man cannot be corrected by no one, he cannot be mentored by no one, he cannot be guided by no one, that is a problem. So if he's not surrendering to God daily, washing himself in the word and prayer of the Most High daily, who am I submitting to and why? A man that is surrendering his life to God knows that he needs God's help. He knows that he needs the Most High help. He knows that he needs God's touch, healing help. Because a lot of us have been through a lot through childhood trauma and neglect and things like that, learn what abuse is. Learn what abuse look like, because there's so much different forms of abuse. And I realized that both my husband and I came into our marriage with abusive ways. We both had abusive ways. And as we stayed married and got to know each other more, we got to see. And I didn't realize it until, we studied psychology and I got very obsessive with reading, that I realized I had abusive ways, my husband had abusive ways. How did I deal with it? I knew I married a good person and I knew I was a good person. Right? I knew that we both believe in the Most High God and that we both believe in having values and norms. Are we perfect? Far from it. But we are willing to work on what needs work. And so learning this in marriage is different. If you can catch this before marriage, is very important, because what you can do is have the conversations, look at your parents and your carers and see how you could have picked up bad habits that are quite abusive and learn the skills to do better. right? And only people who want to do better will do better. I cannot force my husband to do better. He cannot force me to do that. I have to want to do that. Right. And so I would definitely say look at how this person handles difficulties. Like if they're driving and someone cut across them, how do I handle it? If they have an issue with their family, how do they handle it? This is so important. This is so important, right? How do they handle difficult conversations? How do they handle disagreements, right? Is it in a healthy way? And what does healthy look like? Because a lot of us did not see it. So what does healthy look like? And how can you do better? Because a lot of us want to attract this good person. And yes, we might be great people, but we have things in us that we need to work on and we need to do better. And if we want to attract it, I did a video already on you attract who you are. If you want to attract better, you need to know what better is so that you can work on doing better and you can also identify better. And once you can identify it, you can choose, okay, this is for me or this ain't for me. Simple. Right? So can his behavior or his intellect or his control be able to keep the temperature in your relationship, in your marriage, in a healthy way where he ain't hitting you, he ain't cussing at you, he ain't disrespecting you? R.C. Bakes put it, he described the woman as a pot and we cook everything, right? So you give us your purpose, we cook it, we multiply it. You give us, a seed, we cook it, you have babies, you give us a home, a house, we make it into a home. You get the gist, But he said, not every man can be the lid of our pot. Not every man can handle whatever purpose God has also put in us, because you got to remember, God gave us purpose and gave us vision. But some men cannot handle that. Oh, they have a vision and a purpose, and you too have a vision and a purpose. And here's the thing: you might both have vision and purpose that align with each other, and that's gonna multiply each other's, goal, income. They want the attention to themselves. They want the money to themselves. You know what I mean? And so, if you find a man that he does not cover your pot, right? Whether that's sexually, physically, financially, emotionally, this man have to have everything you need or the capacity to expand, to cover you when necessary, right? And some people don't have it. Oh, he look good. Oh, he's sex great, but how is he with his finances? He might not be there, but how is he with his finances? Can we work together? Can we expand together? Can we build together? How is he with his manners, his speech, his behavior, his character? How is he, period? Right. How is he when it comes to how you feel, your emotions? Can you speak to him? How is he intellectually? Can you guys have deep conversations? Right? How is he when it comes to accountability? Can he take accountability when he messes up? Can he say, I did that? Is he an honest person? Right? And so you have to choose a man who's able to cover you, right? In everything that God will put in you to birth. God will put in him to birth. We tend to take on things and nurture things. And the more this man gives you pain, is the more you're going to nurture pain and birth pain. But if this man gives you hope, love, guidance, right, leadership, manhood, fatherhood, you're going to nurture that. So you have to really discern, is this person for me? I remember a friend asked me, Ken, should I work on myself or should I be looking for a man? It will always be work on yourself for me. It will always be work on yourself for me. Because working on yourself will give you a higher chance of choosing someone better, right? And working on yourself doesn't have to be 10 years, 5. It can be 2 years. It can be 1 year. It could be 9 months. I was working on myself for 9 months. I was intentionally, for the first time in my life, working on myself for 9 months before I met my husband. I did not know he was my husband. We were friends for 3 months. So it took a year for me to get into a relationship. But during that time, I was working on myself. And through working on myself, I chose better. I chose better. Which is why we're still together after 9 years. Have it been hard? It has been difficult. There's time I go through some stuff with him and he goes through some stuff with me that I don't even think we're going to make it out. Because sometimes it's so painful, it's so hard. But when you are with someone who's deep, deep pulls deep, iron sharpen iron, even when you go through the hardship, the difficulties, there's always going to be a light. There's always going to be a possibility that you guys are going to come out better. And as long as you guys are getting better. Also, is this man purifying you? Is this man washing you with his word, with his behavior, with his actions? Is he loving you even in your ugly? He's not perfect, but he's able. Is he making your life better or worse? When you're with yourself for a long period of time and you know that you can have a good life by yourself, what's the point of being with someone where your life is going to be a heartache constantly? Now, being with someone for a long term, there's going to be problems. I'm going to stress that. But the problem should not be constant. It shouldn't. It should not. And you need to get to a space where you're like, unless you're helping me, unless you're bettering me, unless you're adding to me, because I know that's what I'm going to do for you in a positive way, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to be arguing weekly. I'm not going to be arguing monthly because of stupidity. Because I wouldn't be doing that if I was chilling by myself. So why would I do that for you? Get to that space. Get to that space and stand on that. Whoever you get with, you are going to improve their life. So make sure whoever comes into your life is going to improve you and not destroy you. Right? He's able to learn what he needs to learn to help, to add. Okay, he's able to learn you. See, oh, that triggers her. Oh, that upsets her. So I'm not going to do that. Allow you to put your guard down. Right? And we find ourselves insecure with issues and lack trust because of things that we've been through. But a good man who comes in your life, he's going to help you to trust him because he's going to be consistent in showing you that he is worthy of your trust. Here's the thing, a lot of people want you to trust them, but they refuse to earn that trust. We have a right to not trust because of what we've been through. And so if you want me to trust you, earn it. And if I don't trust you, that's because you have showed me, you have proven to me that I cannot trust you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've gotten to a place where I realize that if someone don't value me where I am at, so right now I'm a stay-at-home mother. If a man want you to be a mother, do they value mothers? Right? A lot of people think women are just enjoying life at home in the house with kids every day, all the time 24/7. Until you give them the job to be in the house every day 24/7, just leave them a weekend with them kids. Just a weekend. They behave like it's the end of the world because it's not easy. It's not easy. So do they value motherhood? Do they see that what you're doing ain't no wind in the breeze? Is not bed of roses. You lose sleep. When was the last time you slept throughout the whole night? No disturbance. If one ain't sick, one is crying. If one ain't arguing, it. So even if you don't have kids and they want you to have kids, learn what they value. Do they value motherhood? And my mindset with being a stay-at-home mom has shifted so much because I met my husband in university. He wanted children after I blatantly said I didn't want no more kids. And now the woman that I am today, if a man ever asked me to be a stay-at-home mother, I need to know that you can provide. You can bring in money. I can get some money to put in my saving to secure myself apart from our account and your account. So if anything, because you asked me to have your children, you asked me to take care of your house, you asked me to take care of your need, can you take care of me? Can you look out for me? And let's say in the future, we decide to part our ways. Do you love me enough to make sure that I'm good? Because you was giving me money to put in my savings. No matter what, you was looking out for me because I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, even though it was in something that I intended to do because I wanted what you wanted. I wanted to take care of your kids. I wanted to have your kids. I wanted to be with you. And if that means I need to stay at home, can you still look out for me? Can you still take care of me? Right? Are you going to be providing financially that I can put away money, still take care of the house? Are you going to be providing emotionally? Are you going to be providing help? Right? I told this story where a young lady came to our home and my husband was cleaning and cooking at the time while I was taking care of our newborn baby and our 5-year-old. And she asked in her tree, why is he cooking and cleaning? And he told me that. And that blew my mind because as a Caribbean woman, it is very important for me to be with a man who know how to cook and clean and take care of children. Because I do not intend to do that by myself. Right? And because I made so much mistakes when I was younger, I was determined to choose better and do better in my choices and who I commit myself to. And so one of the things that was very important to me, I've always been, was that whoever I'm with can cook and clean. And if they couldn't, because I've been with people who couldn't, I would teach them how to cook and clean. Right? And so, as I said, to each their own. If you want to be with a man who can't cook and clean, that's your business. If you want to be with a man, I feel like when you get to a certain age, finances are very important. Finances should be important as a young age. But if you meet them young, you guys can build together. But if you meet them at a certain age and their finances is still iffy, you got to get that in order, because then I'm going to connect myself with you and we're going to struggle. And so there's so much things. I hope I have not babbled and I hope you guys have gotten something from this. But there's so much that you need to look into when choosing a man. Right? Taking care of a house, being a mother, being a stay-at-home mother is not easy. And so when a man is unable to recognize how important you are in his life, what he's going to do, he's going to mishandle it and he's going to look down on you. He's going to mistreat you because he does not see how you are adding to his life. Right? He did not see that you had to stop your dream and your career to fulfill his dream and his career. Right? And so if he's not celebrating you for bearing his children, for taking care of your children, they still have life. They're well fed, well clothed, well looked after. They're washed when he come home. They're taken care of. If he cannot celebrate the part that you are contributing, right? So the outer appearance not enough. Can he have a conversation with you? Can you guys be together for years and still be able to laugh and have good conversations? All this is important. All this is important. Right? Oh. And this is why you see so much marriages are failing. Right? It is consistent daily work. Daily work. And if you do not choose wisely, you're going to choose someone who is not willing to put in the work, is not willing to change, adapt, and become a better person. And how can you be with someone for a decade, 5 years, 2 decades, and they're still the same? They're not grown. The finances is still difficult. Nothing's getting better. Right? You guys can't learn together. You guys can't have good conversation together. Why is that? As you are with someone, the longer you're with them, the better it should get. And if it's not getting better, something's wrong. And you got to understand, if you want better, you have to be prepared to go through some trials, go through some difficulties, go through some temptations. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And you're not always going to be happy with that person. Always be happy with yourself. Always be working on yourself. Always be developing, adapting. Always. But bear in mind, like, the marriage or the relationship is not always going to be perfect. Are you willing to work through that? Are you willing to still do what you got to do, even in the midst of imperfection, trials, and tribulations? It's going to come. It's going to come. Temptation is going to come. Lust is going to come. Failure is going to come. Pain is going to come. But is it worth it? Are you with someone where it is worth it? We can go through this together because I know we're going to come out better. I know we're going to come out on top. I know things are going to work out. Is it worth it? I'm going to leave this here. I think I went too far. But if you've not yet, follow me on social media and subscribe to my channel and let me know if this helped you. Comment below. God bless.